My friends, welcome. This is Archangel. Rapists, murderers, plunderers. We have all heard the characterizations of males. However, in case you have been left out of the loop, let me bring you up to speed. Criminals come in two flavors, male and female, because the human animal is cruel and abusive to all others, period. Yet, we foist ugliness and evil onto the male sex and wholesomeness and purity onto the female sex. Because we are gynocentric, we elevate females and devalue males. Thus, females that display criminal behavior or act upon or exhibit any of these so-called deviant and criminalistic male behaviors are thought of by the general populace as flukes or rare anomalies and generally handled as expeditiously and quietly as possible. In all actuality, there have been similar numbers of female criminals throughout history as compared to male criminals, if not more. Many historians believe it was much easier for females to get away with their crimes, as no one would suspect a woman as having the means, capability, or deviant tendencies needed for wrongdoing, and thus females could go undetected, flying under the radar. Meanwhile, male wrongdoers garner the most attention, thereby continuing the negative and unfair stereotypes of the male sex. And we use such negative attention as justification for the bigoted views society has come to embrace about males. Wait, what about all the good males do, which far outshines any negativity wrought by any selfish members? Well, it harkens to the old idea that you can do 1,000 things right, but most will remember the one thing you did wrong. Now, just raise that up a level or two, in this case to the arena of sex. 1,000,000 men can do 1,000,000 good deeds, but a few self-centered bad apples do a few bad deeds or display bad behavior, and all males are branded as a result. Because the bad apples are the examples that most will remember and use to look upon and judge the male sex as a whole. It doesn't matter that the overwhelming majority of males in the world are not, nor have they ever been, criminal offenders. That doesn't matter. People still need old reliable, scapus gotus malus, men, to which they can assign all blame for all the unpleasantness in the world. Though males are harnessed with the reputation of being harmful and destructive, females are perhaps more harmful and destructive, though the methods of operation may differ somewhat. For example, men that intend trespass against others oftentimes just flat out assault or attack with nothing subtle about it, as their physical strength supports this method. Many females, on the other hand, who aren't Laura Croft or Aeon Flux, they may seek the same goal, only they may use manipulation tactics to affect the same result. You see, both sexes sport membership numbers who are cold, calculating, selfish, and greedy. It's simply a matter of different tactics. Whether a male flat out steals and robs someone of their money, or a female misleads and manipulates someone out of their money, both have the same intent and lead to the same ends, and both are just as malicious of intent. Now, of course, the opposite will point their fingers at the other sex and claim that their method for criminality is worse. Females will argue that the male's method, which involves violence, is more traumatic and therefore more reprehensible. I could argue the opposite, that women are more vicious by using deceitful manipulation as a primary method, as it demonstrates deeper malice of forethought, evidenced by elaborate premeditative planning rather than hasty impulse. For instance, slow poisoning, which has been a method of homicide traditionally favored by women, according to historians, has been said to be more heinous than a violent male attack, which results in murder, for the simple fact that poisoning is prolonged. It is prolonged suffering, misery, and deterioration. The murderer, or in this context, the murderess, chooses to murder over and over again each time poison is introduced to the victim, which demonstrates continual, sober, extensive premeditation devoid of remorse. It shows dedication to that murder time and time again. Just like poisoning, so too does utility, manipulation, and usurpation slowly suck a male dry. Hence, gynocentrism is a crime. it compels the abuse of half the human race. Now, a crime is a crime is a crime, but it is the method in which the criminal executes that crime which tells so much about the person's inner workings, whether it be a full frontal attack by males or sly manipulation by females. The bottom line here is that females are just as criminal and scandalous as males, in fact, perhaps more so. Naysayers and detractors may whip out all kind of statistics to elucidate contentions that males are indeed more criminal than females. Sure, you could regale people with statistics and figures on incarceration, numbers on violent crimes such as murder, rape, assault, or battery, numbers on fraud and theft, numbers on felonies and misdemeanors, populations of penal institutions, males versus females, etc. However, you merely point out our gynocentrism. We throw the book at males with a roach clip in their ashtray, but we let females off the hook for everything from murder to battery to trafficking. Yet how many females throughout history and still today have gotten away with any and all manner of crime or deceitful misdeeds simply because they were never even suspected or investigated by virtue of the fact that they were female? Furthermore, how many were simply dismissed because they were female? And everybody knows females are good. I'll bet the numbers are so much higher than anyone realizes. Yet, when someone says criminal, which sex pops into your mind first? I'll bet my tax refund it's not females. Moreover, we infantilize females to the point that we remove responsibility from them, and thus they are free to offend others with impunity. I have addressed this before, and I will again, because it is crucially relevant to recognizing male devaluation, and that is the acceptance of female trespass onto others. Society finds it acceptable for women to put their hands on males, to hit, smack, throw objects at them, etc., while males are raised to stoically take such punishment without retaliation. Females perpetrate as much domestic violence as males, and I posit that if every case was actually brought to light, that females would easily take the lead in statistics 2 or 3 times over, because we live in a society that justifies females putting their hands on males all day long. In fact, females are encouraged to abuse males. They get high fives and "you go girl" from other females, and males will soak up female battery and laugh at, even restrain other males for females to abuse. Yes, believe it. Still, scrutinizing men who have victimized women usually takes priority and spotlight, while the victimization of men by women is seldom, if ever, discussed or taken seriously. It's often laughed away. Reality is, both sexes perpetrate fouls against the other. Whether a man forces himself on a female sexually against her will, or whether females force objects, such as phones or dishes, to strike a male against his will, the point is both sexes indulge in violations against the other. You can try and classify one as egregious and one as not a big deal. Assault is much worse than an angry girlfriend tossing a phone book at her annoying boyfriend's head, right? Any and all violations cause damage, whether it be physical, psychological, or emotional. Splitting hairs does not mitigate any mistreatment, nor does it lessen one form of abuse in comparison to others. None are acceptable. Still, I hypothesize that many male slights are reactive to a female's proactive trespasses, meaning females abuse and manipulate males, then males get angry and strike back at the female. The instances of domestic violence against men by women has taken a sharp increase in recent years, and the majority of them still don't get reported, nor taken seriously even if they are. Men feel they won't be believed, or worse, that they'll be laughed at and looked down upon as weak for even reporting such abuses. And guess what? In most instances, they would be right. Many males would not be taken seriously, while others would be ridiculed. For instance, what would your knee-jerk reaction be if you heard any old anonymous male say, when my girlfriend gets mad, she throws things at me. Or, I told my wife I wasn't in the mood, but she would not take no for an answer. Or, my wife likes to humiliate me in front of friends and family. Or, my fiance hits me a lot and calls me names. So, what would you think initially of any guy who said any of these things? Would you have the urge to laugh? Or would you think that they were weak, or whiny, or soft? Or worse yet, would you justify such abuse in your own mind and think, yeah, he probably did something to deserve it? Would you care whether or not he really was a victim, or simply dismiss him as weak and pitiful? The shame and embarrassment alone will cause most reports of female-to-male domestic assault to go unreported, and rightfully so. Most males would be hauled away to the county motel even if he is the victim. Females feel free and emboldened to trespass onto males. I was chatting with a guy one time who said that his girlfriend will strike him if he is not in the mood whenever she beckons. And he told me that once he had had a long day, it was rough at work, and he was just simply too tired. And so when he rebuffed her advances and told her, "Not tonight, sweetheart," she got pissed, grabbed a hold of his scrotum, and yanked so hard that he thought she had ripped something and he would need to go to the hospital. Yeah, apparently she goes off like this all the time. I guarantee these types of occurrences are more epidemic than we know, yet most would simply laugh off this type of thing and dismiss it. Now, of course we know if the reverse were true and he had wanted to do her, yet she was not in the mood, and had he grabbed a hold of a boob or a flap of labial skin and yanked it for all he was worth just because she wouldn't give it up, there would most likely have been charges involved. Seriously, folks, domestic abuse by female victimizers is much higher than anyone realizes. Females verbally, physically, and mentally abuse males with an attitude of entitlement, and males sit on their hands and endure it because chivalry compels them to never, 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 ever touch a woman. Males also realize that if the fuzz were called, they will either not be believed or they will be the ones hauled off. Moreover, people will mercilessly and ceaselessly mock the male if word got out that he was enduring abuse at the hands of a female, a tender little flower petal. Now, as it happens, I live in a town that houses the state's female penal institution, though many citizens of this town are not even aware of this, because we like to handle gyno criminals quietly. And fortuitously, I just happen to know a few lieutenants that work at the female prison, and they have regaled me with stories of goings-on there. Furthermore, I used to work at a recycling place where trustees would deliver their recyclables. As such, I have learned quite a lot from the COs as well as from the trustees, and I have heard many provocative things, though nothing really surprises me, as I already know females to be quite capable and disposed to criminality. Just the other day, he told me, people have no idea what females are capable of. Everybody thinks females are so sweet and innocent. What a crock. I've seen it all. Or, I posited, people don't want to know what females are capable of. They choose to believe that their angel gender is pure and virtuous, especially mommies. They have the purest of pure intentions towards others, because they're mothers. So we continue to blame males for everything. He rolled his eyes and says, "Yeah, the general population is full of mothers. I guess nobody told them." Moreover, he told me, you wouldn't believe how many females are in for rape. That one caught me off guard. Rape? Really? "Oh, you have no idea," was his reply. "Statutory, rape of males, rape of females, molestation of children, etc." Yes, rape of males, you heard right. Apparently you slip a triple dose of Viagra along with roofies in a drink, then ride a male against his consent when he cannot control his erection. So yes, females do sexually violate others. Rape is not a male-only franchise. In fact, the other day I saw the headline of our local paper, which I rarely even look at. Yet front and center on page 1 of this gynocentric, infantilizing females traditionalist publication was a headline about a female coach charged with sexual molestation of students that she coached. Yes, believe it. Anyhow, both lieutenants of the female prison admit the gynocentrism of society. They say their facility is maybe a fifth of the size of a standard male facility. Both have seen firsthand the lesser sentences females get juxtaposed with the male equivalent. Both have seen females walk on trafficking or assault or fraud and embezzlement charges, whereas males got harsh, even unreasonable sentences for the same things. Even still, a few females fall through the gynocentric safety net and end up in their facility. These folks are not fooled by female propaganda as the more loving and caring of the species. These corrections officer acquaintances of mine manage red pills every day. I needed to delve further, and of course, I pressed for details. Suffice it to say, there are females incarcerated for everything from poisoning the whole family and setting the house on fire to chopping up a guy with an electric bread slicer, which must have been pretty tough going. My bread slicer has trouble making headway through whole wheat bread. There are females who maimed boyfriends, mothers who maimed their own children. One gal is there because she put her toddler's hands and feet in acid, which destroyed all appendages except for a partial thumb and finger on one hand. Any vile thing males can do, females do also. Theft, robbery, grand larceny, armed robbery, bank robbery, murder, embezzlement, manslaughter, rape, fraud, assault, etc. Females are just as vicious as males, sometimes even more so, according to my acquaintances. Yeah, remember little Annie? Anything you can do, I can do better? Does that apply to hacking up the landlord? Yet citizenry, especially males, fail to see reality and will hold on to fairy tales of female benevolence and purity. I am told of how many female inmates have males writing to them and sending them money. At any one particular point, a female may be corresponding with a dozen males who think that she is innocent, or that these females took the fall for some loser boyfriend when he got popped with meth. The correspondence females get is staggering, apparently. However, why would females get so much attention, so much correspondence? Because we think females are angels, and these females play on that societal perception and manipulate males even from confinement. Moreover, females continue to use sexuality to manipulate males. Female inmates try to use sex to manipulate officers. He tells me that any subcontractor that does work there is not allowed interactions with females because they will try and use sex or innocence and fragility to manipulate anyone they can, especially males, because males are such pitiful, weak slabs of jelly around females. And apparently there is a higher than normal turnover rate because new male officers will succumb to female inmates and sleep with them, which causes the man to be fired, prosecuted, and he will have to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life, simply for sexual relations with a female inmate, who are pretty much hideous to begin with. Most people never hear about any of this type of thing. All we get inundated with is male offenders, or what goes on inside male prisons. Well, guess what? Privilege vacuums are not better, nor more angelic, when they are confined. These females do not sit around and embrace each other in a sisterhood of divinity, nor pray for world peace, or forgiveness to those who falsely accuse them. Nope, females enact their true character. They fight with each other, they have gangs and girlfriends, and they sleep with each other. They wheel and deal. They assault officers and throw all manner of fluids at them. They clog toilets, they paint their walls with feces, and they hurl used tampons around. You will see females' true nature in this environment. They have to enact their true predispositions, since they do not have males around to manipulate into handling their business for them, so they have to. Females prey on their reputations as wholesome angels and tug at the heartstrings of others. And males will white knight even for killers and rapists. And males will go on to decry female punishment. One lieutenant told me that he was out to lunch with a friend one time, and they were discussing the female inmates, to which this guy exclaimed, "Oh, that's terrible. Women shouldn't be in prison." Then my friend pointed out some of their offenses, to which the guy simply retorts, "Well, it's not their fault. They must have hooked up with a bad guy somewhere along the line." Oh my good hell, are you kidding me with this guy? Yeah. So, females are angels, and the small handful that are not, well, they were influenced by males. A guy somewhere along the line tainted their angelic nature, and that's why females go bad. Once again, we blame males for everything, including the wrongful actions of females. Wow. Are we so biased against males that people really believe this? Yes, actually, we are. We demean and devalue males so much that people truly do believe this. But you see, this is our societal priority, gynocentrism. We devalue males so that we may dispose of them. No matter what females do, they are relinquished of responsibility due to traditionalism's infantilization of them. So females enjoy purity of reputation, elevation of worth, and exoneration of responsibility for their actions. Males are quite literally the world's whipping boys. We blame, abuse, whip, and punish males for the wrongdoings of females. So, bad girls? Ha, no. There are no bad girls, only bad boys who have influenced good girls. My friends, help me to awaken males to reality. Stand with me, live free.